What's up, Instagram family? I wanted to read to you a little bit from this book right here, The Gods of Eden. This is one of my favorite books. It was written by William Bramley in 1989, and he basically set out to write about humanity and war, and write about humanity's inherent greed and why we war with each other. But what he found was something completely different, and it completely flabbergasted him. He risked his career, he risked his reputation writing this book, and but he's just a really good researcher, and this is basically what he came up with. This is his theory right here, so I wanted to read this to you. Tell me what you think. So human beings appear to be a slave race languishing on Earth. As such, the human race was once a source of labor for an extraterrestrial civilization and still remains a possession today. To keep control over its possession and maintain Earth as something of a prison, that other civilization has bred never-ending conflict between human beings, has promoted human spiritual decay, and has erected on Earth conditions of unremitting physical hardship. This situation has existed for thousands of years, and it continues today. Let me know what you think. So William Bramley goes on to talk about the fall from Eden as well. So these extraterrestrials he calls the Custodial Race, and that they were maybe even larger than us physically, and they made humans to basically do all of the laborious stuff that they didn't want to do. We built cities, we were their personal, slaves, and almost like pets, things like that. It's not that they hated us, not in the beginning, but that, they created us to do the things they didn't want to do. And for some of us, we lived in the Garden of Eden with them, which was their, beautiful utopia, but we were slaves. And when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, which the knowledge was given to them by a serpent, which is a reptile, and that knowledge was basically, hey, did you know that you're slaves? And then they realized that they were naked, and it wasn't that they were ashamed of their nakedness, it was that they realized that they were lesser than, and that they were in fact slaves. And then of course that spread through the humans, and the humans started to collude and talk and maybe overthrow the custodians, the custodial race. And then what happened, in the book he says that these extraterrestrials, the custodials, took humanity all throughout the world and taught them different languages so that they couldn't work together as easily to understand who's controlling them and to throw over them and stuff, overthrow them. And then also the schism happened, where they realized, well, they know that we're their captors. They know that they're slaves. So we have to go into hiding and live from elsewhere and pull the strings from behind the curtain, basically. Yeah. And so in the book, he does talk about some, interspecies kind of mating going on between the custodial race and humans. Some of the custodial race gods found, the human women beautiful, and they would mate with them, and they would have half-breed children, and they would put those individuals as heads of royalty, so figureheads and kings and queens, that kind of thing. So another point that this book brings up that I find really fascinating is that, if the powers that be were actually working in our favor, and we're actually doing what they're supposed to do, which they're supposed to be public servants, but they're not. But if they were actually really putting humanity's best interests at heart, do you really think that, there would be people working 3 jobs just to get by? Do you really think that that they would make vehicles that just break down so easily, like planned obsolescence, if you know what that is? Do you really think that there wouldn't be enough to go around? Paul Chek brings up a really good example of a tribe. There was a tribe that was studied, and they saw that in order to have all of the chores done for the day, everyone pitching in, elders, adults, teenagers, everyone pitching in and doing their chores for the day, that they could get everything done for their survival in about 3.5 hours. And the rest of the time was spent in leisure and playing with the children and dancing and celebrating life and observing life. And that's how humans are meant to live, really. I believe that. We're not meant to work as much as we do. It's no wonder people are going batty, so, and feeling like they can't get anywhere. And it's because so much has been held from us. And, do you really think that it would just take like 35, 40 years to pay off a home? Do you really think that there's not enough rice to go to the people, that are starving, and other food as well? It's all about the distribution. It's just that the idea that if the powers that be were really, really in our court, and they really actually cared, then, life would be vastly different. So that's just something to kind of contemplate, that, in a tribe, takes 3.5 hours, everyone working together, and then everyone gets to leisure together, right? And, nobody has more than the other. Everything is shared. Can that work on a global scale? I mean, I don't know. But I think that humans were just better taken care of in the tribe scenario. And then, we can also talk about how there has been an attack on the family, because they knew that was a strong unit, the tribe, right? So, there's just so many ways that they can do that. Like, for instance, today I was thinking about, all those movies where there's a single girl that is in the city and she dates, and they make it seem very glamorous with like high heel shoes and her big girl job, get in an office and in some big high rise, and how that we should reach towards that. But I mean, that right there has caused the destruction of the family, right? Like not having the mother at home, not having someone there to, raise the kids and make sure that they're not, becoming shitheads and, and being like, just, raising them properly. So, as soon as times got so tight that both parents had to work, then that was like a really big shift, in North America anyways. Right? That was when things started to go downhill. So you can see lots of examples of how there's been attacks on the family. I won't really get into them too much here, but I'm sure you can figure out on your own what that is when you think about trends that are going on, because families are strong. Families are strong together. And if we all decided to kind of come together in small little tribes, then we would be so strong and we wouldn't have to rely on the government, and we could be living off the land and living in farms and, working out our differences, of course, because that happens, right? But it's all possible. So I hope that that's where we're going. I hope that we're going to a future where we go back to some traditions, using a little bit of technology that has helped us, but not the kind that harms us. And, allowing free energy technologies to be, given to humanity, because they are ours. They were birthed by humans, and their work has just been suppressed and hidden, and it ought to be given back to the people. So anyways, guys, there's some things to ponder. I hope you enjoyed Storytime Gods of Eden. Send me a message if you liked this and if you want me to do more story times like this. All right, guys.